So I'm testing out my new audio setup. This might be a video that's on the shorter side. I just wanted to make a video and see how it came out, given some equipment upgrades that I got. So I might talk about the details more in a later video, but I'm just going to talk over this email I'm writing for now. More grammar, and what I have up right now is a discussion that has been going on, and it's got some replies in it. And basically, I'd linked a Stack Exchange discussion where there was some discussion of, what was it? How to break down something like likelihood of me doing this versus, I think it's somewhere further down here. Right, okay, here it is. It's in the purple. Likelihood of me doing this versus likelihood of my doing this. And the discussion got a bit sprawling. So what I'm doing down here is I'm trying to sum up sort of the state of the discussion and my thoughts about it, because I was getting a little lost just keeping track of everything. So I thought I would basically try and keep track more explicitly and all in one place, because it's, I mean, there's a reason people take notes, right? Like if the key points are sort of broken up across, I should say, this big wall of stuff, then that's not as helpful as if it's all, in one place. And often, I'll do that even in some work I do, where it's like there might be 5 or 10 pages of stuff that's kind of boiled down already, but then I'll just take that and make like one sentence for each paragraph or two of stuff that I have to look out for. Just because there's a limit to how much you can hold in your mind at one time, and it's like if you need to refer to stuff, that's fine, but you need to break this stuff down that isn't like your active memory at any point at any time, and into pretty small chunks in order to keep it there. So anyway, these are my notes so far, and I'm still writing them. So we're joining the email writing process in the middle here. I'm not done, but I'll just start talking over these a bit. So I'm going to recap some discussion of the likelihood of me doing this is small, plus some of my own thoughts in order to make sure I'm understanding stuff. So the stack exchange answerer, SA, that's what I'm calling the person I quoted earlier. So the stack exchange answerer view, meaning perspective, of me doing this is a prepositional phrase. Oh, I should bring the sentence down. If I'm going to be doing an outline of the discussion. Oh, no, I did. Although this is more of an intro thing. So I had some funky stuff with a hotkey getting triggered or something. Anyway, so I say stack exchange answer review. Of me doing this is a prepositional phrase. The objective of is the noun me. Me is modified by the participial phrase doing this, which describes the type of me. Doing this me, so to speak. Eliot's meaning-based criticism of essay view. In the essay view, of me is the primary thing modifying likelihood. But likelihood is something that pertains to the chance that something will occur, not to an object like me. Justin's comment. The likelihood of doing this me is small. And notice, well, let me just finish the sentence. Doesn't make sense. So notice I've done a sort of replacement. Instead of me doing this, I've reworded it to make clear the theory. Oops. I said theory and Siri thought I was saying her name. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. They are pretty close. Anyway, so I say it's kind of like if you said the likelihood of him is small or the likelihood of them is small. It's nonsense. If you said the likelihood of him surviving is small or the likelihood of them winning is small, then that'd be fine. So we could read another gerund, and I'm sort of skipping ahead here because that's Eliot's view. But we could read another gerund into the sentence along with the doing this me reading. For example, the likelihood of doing this me existing is small. But then we're just reading a gerund back into the sentence to replace the one we read out of the sentence in the first place, which seems silly. And also, this construction, the likelihood of doing this me existing is small, sounds super awkward. So I say Eliot's view. Of me doing this is a prepositional phrase. Me doing this is a gerund phrase serving as the object of the preposition of. Justin's attempt to expand upon Eliot's view. So, subject, me, verbal, doing, object, this. I think that's right. Actually, I'm going to say to analyze the gerund phrase according to. So I'm not really expanding on it per se. I'm just sort of. All right. So this is interesting. So Eliot had explained what I called the essay view and then criticized it. And I replied, I think the logic of the position I've been advocating on list, that verbals are whatever they are, thing they are, noun, adjective, whatever, and can't take things like subjects, and this is important, compels me to the view, and I had a typo here, but that's fine. Compels me to the view, the likelihood of me doing this is small. I think I should have said is simply ungrammatical or is just ungrammatical as opposed to as just being ungrammatical, which is it's right before the word ungrammatical is a kind of a funny place for this weird whatever this is, but that's fine. So if I want to express the idea in that expression, meaning this expression, in a grammatical way, I have to use my. So what I was saying, and I said I don't have a problem with this use. So what I was saying is that essentially this is wrong, this is right, that's it. Because verbals can't take things like subjects. So do it this way. That was an implication of a view that I was articulating in other threads. And what Eliot asks here is, do you also believe that one must talk about Joe's doing this rather than Joe doing this in all cases? Right, so that's an illuminating question because Joe's is, possessive, like my. So the same logic should apply, and yet I agree that Joe doing this, like if you're saying Joe doing this job is a problem, that sounds fine. Joe's doing this job is a problem. That sounds okay, but yeah, I see the issue, right? Because if you're basically going to prohibit gerunds from taking subjects, then when you do have something in front of a gerund, it's going to have to be like an adjective or something. Right. So Elliot's saying subjects of verbals are less common. They routinely have objects. Objects are different than modifiers. You can't reasonably interpret ball as a modifier in the way adjectives, adverbs, and prepositional phrases are in Joe threw the ball. I agree. Similarly, in to throw the ball is fun, I think you have the same issue, right? So I said earlier, what did I say? Can't take, right. I said verbals are whatever thing they are and can't take things like subjects. And I think Eliot fairly read objects as things like subjects in the context we're talking about, where it's a major clause level structural thing that is not the verb itself. And so to save this like interpretation of verbals as not being able to take things like subjects, I'd have to come up with some reason like why it would be okay for them. Why I'd say, oh, they can't take subjects, they can take objects though. And I don't think I can come up with such a principle, so all right, I think that's an email, and I think I'll call this a video here.